In this video I'll show a new Pokemon strategy I discovered that lets you deal the most damage possible in Legends CA. It's only possible in this specific game, and I just used this strategy in the first tournament of Season 2, where I barely lost the first place tiebreaker by one knockout, using no legendaries. So let's start by explaining the strategy and then explore its different use cases. Because stat boosting moves like Swords Dance and Nasty Plot don't give the usual +2 stages, only longer duration. When I came across the move Focus Energy, I immediately thought, hold on, this might be the only way to further boost your damage than just the +1 stages. And it is the only way, not including held items and the move Charge that only boosts electric type moves. I'll talk more about that move later in the video because it's also pretty broken. After using the move Focus Energy, all your hits have a 50% chance to land critical hits, and by combining that with high critical chance moves like Night Slash, you will crit your foes 100% of the time. And even crazier is that the same goes for combining Focus Energy with the held item Scope Lens, which will make all of your moves crit all of the time, as long as the effect of using Focus Energy is still active, and it's active for 30 whole seconds, which is more than enough. So the strat is to combine Focus Energy with an attacking boosting move like Swords Dance or Bulk Up. The issue here though is that there aren't any known strong Pokemon that gets access to Focus Energy and a attack stat boosting move. These are the options that learn both kinds of moves. And then down here we have Salamence, which is clearly the Pokemon of all of this with the highest base stats, but it only learns Focus Energy, not any other damage boosting move. Let's start off with Beedrill with its 395 base stats. It gets O-code by neutral hits, it has very weak stab moves. But wait, it gets Drill Run, a high critical hit ratio move. With the ground move that's really good into the meta, we can actually swap over to Mega Beedrill and still have 100% chance with the Drill Run to crit. But this doesn't change the problem of getting O-code. 70 increase in speed feels bad when the speed stat is only for making cooldown slower. Because when you use a move, you want to OHKO or 2 hits by using 2 different moves. But with 145 base stat in speed, moves like Drill Run and Poison Jab, the moves that Beedrill wants to run as a Mega, they become as low as possible, 3 seconds. But how will it survive when setting up with both Focus Energy and Swords Dance? You will get KO'd, right? Or... It is easy to make any Pokemon look good on clips. But in reality, it's not so easy to make everything work the way you want it to. The music wanted me to do that. Anyway, moving on to this Pokemon. It's probably just a worse version of Beedrill, though it gets Mega Horn, Leech Life and some other moves that you could combine with Swords Dance, Focus Energy and Scope Lens to maybe make it work. When I think about it, Leech Life could do something. No, I don't have any clips for this Pokemon. Moving on to the 2 normal types that can abuse the strongest move in the game, Giga Impact. Kangaskhan is clearly the stronger of the 2, having better stats in all 5 categories it cares about. I guess you could run Watchog with Giga Impact plus a random coverage move to surprise OHKO something, like Gunk Shot on Duxurnius, but it's about a 50-50 that Swords Dance, Focus Energy, Scope Lens one-hit KOs with a plus move. Let's see what stat boosting moves Kangaskhan gets. Nothing here. Power-up punch isn't viable because it only boosts your attack for 4.5 seconds. What does this move do? Oh, I remember what Workup does. A funny but not viable thing is to use Tail Whip on top of Workup and Focus Energy to make Mega Kangaskhan be able to one-hit KO Mega Metagross when you get a crit half of the time. I think that would be the strongest possible attack from just one Pokemon. OHKOs anything except like Steelix and Aggron. Now I just tested Camerupt. It only gets Curse as a stat boosting move, and because of its already incredibly slow movement speed, it will not be able to catch up to anything. It didn't feel good, even though the damage output is insane when you hit. Probably better off playing Camerupt's Focus Energy as a special attacker. My Curse stat boosts ran out before I got to hit the move. I did get 12 KOs one game, but it was all Garchomp, and you still have to switch out anytime there's a water type. The first Pokemon I tried to use Focus Energy on was Pangoro. It has a lot of options on how to build it. The two main ways I'd say is using high crit moves like Night Slash and Stone Edge without Scope Lens, or using Scope Lens with Close Combat and another move like Ice Punch, Gunk Shot or Giga Impact. Pangoro also had the option to use either Swords Dance or Bulk Up. I also used Pangoro without Focus Energy or crit moves to success in a tournament. I think it might be better to use Pangoro without crits because with all that setting up time, a fairy move is going to come your way. The last Pokemon that I've tried so far is Scizor, and I'm actually just about to try it out in one of the hardest CA tournaments so far. But doesn't it also take too long to set up Scizor that a fire move will come your way with 4 players on the map? Well, the thing is, the two most popular fire types in the meta are both weak to the high crit rate move Night Slash, which Scizor gets. It's also possible to OHKO both Metagross and Xerneas, which are the two most played Pokemon, and they are often combined on the same team with one of these fire types. As you see, it can pin the most popular meta team. And these few clips is from the tournament I was going to use this team in. I said in the beginning of the video that I was going to talk about the move Charge too. The reason why is that it's the only other viable way to further boost your damage. The problem with Charge is that it only boosts electric type moves, and there are barely any Pokemon that learns both Charge and a damage boosting move, but it doubles your next electric type move, not just a 1.5 times multiplier like crits are. One of the only and probably best way to use Charge and a damage boosting move on the same Pokemon is to use Bulk Up Electros. But that might be for another video, even though I already used it in the tournament on the same team as 100% crit rate Kangaskhan. In conclusion, from what I've seen, these strategies to further boost your damage output are very unexplored. Before I used them in tournaments, I didn't see anyone use them in ranked matches or on social media. I definitely think others have also discovered these strats on their own, but not many, because I just started seeing a few in ranked after the tournament posts where I used them blew up. Thank you for reaching the end of the video. Before you move on, please leave a comment on what you'd like to see me upload in the future, and with a reminder to subscribe, have a good one.